Okay, so you remember we got up to this stage over here where we wanted to create some more shape to this overall pattern that we're doing and create some wings. Remember we extruded a little bit too far down this direction with that extrude, so let's change that dimension, that extrusion dimension, and reduce it just a touch. So if I edit the feature, which is extrusion length, instead of making it 180 millimeters, I might make it say 170. See how that goes. Maybe a little bit too, yeah, that'll be good. That's fine. So 170 millimeters, that does us well. Okay, now if these planes annoy you and get in your way, you can highlight them when you hover over them, right click them, click visibility, and you can remove those planes so that it makes it a bit easier to see what you're doing with your object. Okay, all of that good. Now let's do something a little bit slightly different using a tool that we haven't perhaps used before as much, the Loft Tool. I'm going to do another extrusion here now, starting a 2D sketch on this plane on the right, and this time we'll do a sketch with a line, and I'm going to use the Loft Tool feature to show you how useful it can be over here. So we'll start from right, maybe up there, yeah. Do a line all the way down to here. Snap to that position. Go across. I'm going to have to drag this a little bit across. Get out of the dragging tool mode. Another line here, all the way across to there, up here, create that shape, finish that sketch. Now I'm going to extrude all this section out because I want to create a different kind of a shape as we narrow down. So hit the extrude button and remove material in the other direction. Well, it's 180, but it doesn't matter. It can be all as far as we want it to go. Okay. We'll just go back to all the distance. We might make it a distance because it doesn't seem to like all at the moment. So we'll make it cut material, remove material. Click OK. So we removed all this out. Very ugly shape now, I think you'll agree. But let's do something here now. I'm going to create on this area here a sketch, and I want to activate as well one of those planes. So if you hover over origin over here, expand the origin, you'll see the planes appear. I want the X, Y, Z plane, so I'm going to click on visibility so I can see it. Then I'm going to click on this plane, start a 2D sketch on that plane, and now I'm going to create an ellipse on that plane surface, and I'm going to then use that ellipse as a basis for creating a loft or a merged shape. So I'll start the ellipse about, let's say about here. Make the major axis around about there. Okay, and then stretch that shape outwards. There it is. Yeah, like that. And that'll do. Click Finish Sketch. So I have that shape here, and I want to merge this shape from the canister into that second shape that we've just set up there. So let's see how that goes. So I'm quite a bit interested because the last time I did this, I actually set this deeper onto a plane that was halfway down the body of the main part of the body. This time I set it on the surface. So let's use under the loft feature over here, sweeps and so forth. We'll choose loft, and we're going to be asked which surfaces do we want to use. So I'm going to choose this surface here. I'd like to choose it anyway, if it lets me choose it. Oh, did I select the sketch? I think I did finish the sketch. Let's have a look and see if we can move this around. Okay. Yep. Select this face here. So no, not that one. There we are. Okay. So we created this shape that merges in like that. And if I click OK, you can see we've merged from that round shape into this elliptical shape. And it's sort of quite a nice option for us, fairly streamlined. We can play with it more if we want, and we'll use this same feature in a minute now to create wings on our rear wings on our car. So to create those rear wings, we'll move on to doing that right away. I'm going to do a couple of other things I need to do, but maybe I'll do those first. Alright, so on this face over here, I'm going to start another 2D sketch and drag it into the middle. I need to leave 15mm clearance, air clearance, behind the back wheel. That's part of the rules now. So I'm going to create a shape here, a rectangle. I think I'll make it, a rectangle like that. And I want this rectangle to be, not center rectangle, hit escape button. I'd like to have a 2-point rectangle. Let's try that. 2-point rectangle, drag it out, and I want 70mm is fine, but I want that secondary dimension up here to be 15. So I'll drag here, touch there, drag up, left mouse button click, and write 15. Hit enter. Unfortunately, it's given me on this side of the line. Yes. Okay, so it's anchored one of the dimensions to somewhere where I don't want that dimension. So let's see if we can do this and make that 0. Yep. Okay, so 15's here. That'll be good enough for me. Now, I'm going to click OK to finish that sketch and extrude downwards, so the opposite direction. Click OK. I'm removing material, which is what I want to do. Yep, there we go. So now I've removed that material. I've got myself my clearance, but I want to replicate that on the other side as well. So I'm going to try and mirror that feature. So I'll hit the mirror button here, and I can go down through my browser here and find the extrusion. There it is. It's the last one I did, extrusion 16. Select that. Select as the mirror plane this XY plane over here. Well, I better select it over here in the control box and select the XY plane. So if I select the feature, which is here, then the mirror plane, I want to mirror that feature about this plane. There it is there. And click OK, and I've reproduced it. So I've got myself my mirrored feature, which is good. Alright, so let's now go on to working on this area of the loft for the wing. Actually, what I might do before I do that with you guys is show you a little bit about another rule that we have to factor in. I think it's maybe visible to you on my desktop. If I click onto my desktop here, the F1 in Schools rules. You can get these on the REA website. It's good for you to check through those. This describes some of the rules regarding airfoils, and also this section here, which is called the virtual cargo. So there's some rules that you have to be aware of, and regarding distances between airfoils and wheels and so forth, and clearance around the front airfoil. I think it's 3.5mm that you've got to have. So it's all stuff that you've got to be aware of. Make sure your wheels are outside of the downward profile of your rear wing. And there's some other distances about rear wing which you can check and see for yourselves. There's no time to go through it here. The bit that I was interested in talking to you about was this virtual cargo that you see. It's 40 millimeters by 8 millimeters deep by 60 millimeters long. Now that has to sit between the front and rear axles. So when you create your car, make sure that there's enough space to fit that virtual cargo in, and you've got these side pods which are 15 millimeters by 30 millimeters. Now I'm going back to our drawing here. There's more than enough room over here to fit that side pod. If I turn the car upside down and looked at it from underneath, there's heaps of room to fit in that virtual cargo. I know that there is, but you will have to check if you want to cut it finer to the line. Check to make sure there is room for that virtual cargo. You can just draw the shape in there if you want and see it. And it has to be displayed. Okay, so enough said of that. Let's go to the top here again, and I'll show you a little bit more about creating our wings, or how I would create the wings, alright, of the car. Alright, so let's go and create ourselves a plane. And we need to create another plane over here. So on that surface over there, I want a plane parallel to this plane. So on the plane feature here now, I'm going to choose a parallel to plane and through point type of plane. So select a plane. So I'm going to select this plane first, the XY plane, and that one there, yep. Now I'm going to select a point. So I'm going to try and find a point. That point will do. And I select that point. Now I've got a parallel plane. I can sketch on that plane. That's why I need it to sketch on. Alright, now I'm going to do a sketch on this plane here that we've just created. There it is. And I'm going to center this thing up. And I want to show you a little bit about organizing ourselves a wing. And so center axis, I like to have that center axis visible. So click on visibility so I can see it, because I want to design my airfoil around that. So I'm going to use this ellipse tool, or this line tool I should say, the control vertex line, and I'm going to create a profile of a wing here. Try and keep it away from the front axle, and I'll start here. We'll make it a fairly simple kind of airfoil shape, and again that really irritating kind of shape that Autodesk does there. Okay, let's do here a bit further. Again, we can always alter this, the shape of the airfoil, it's up to you. I'm going to make it like that. Alright, now I'll make it a little bit bigger because I want to see it a bit more clearly. Now you can get these airfoil profiles at NACA, N-A-C-A. There's different ones and different shapes and sizes, and you can research them out and what they do. I'm going to just play around with this shape a little bit by dragging some of these buttons. Hit escape here now. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I'll make a little bit, change the shape a touch like that, and make it give a little bit more aerodynamicism and a little bit more neutral. Oh no, I'll give it a bit of lift. So larger surface area over there. This shape here I'll stretch out a little bit like that. Okay, and again let me just check against my wheel. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit further forward as well. So I'll take that shape, stretch a bit further forward like that. Alright, now that'll be the front face. So I'll finish that sketch. There it is sitting there. Now I'm going to create another sketch on this center plane. Start a 2D sketch here on that plane there, and bring it into the middle. Drag this thing across so I can see it, and I'm going to create another sketch, but this time I'm going to make it exactly the same, or very similar. I'll create my spline, but I want it to be a bit bigger. I really want it to be a fair bit larger. I'll show you why. Because I'm going to use the Loft Tool again. And merge these shapes together. Okay, so let's stretch it out a little bit further. Hit escape out of that. And there it is. stretch it a little bit further. And it's good having the original shape there to reference. And I'll show you why in a minute. I'm going to stretch it just a bit more. I want it to be reasonably large. So it's fairly obvious that the shape is going to be a bit larger. Not the whole thing, just that there. Okay, it's a bit of shaping and patterning going on here. Alright, I think that's going to just about do it. So I'll click OK, Finish Sketch. Now I've got two different profiles using that Loft Tool, which is pretty wonderful. I think it's here, yeah, Loft Tool. We've got two different profiles. There's the first one, and here is, if I can get hold of it, there's the second one. Can I select it? Yes. I've created myself a wing, which is a varying shape wing with two, a beginning and a finishing profile. I click that OK. There now, we've got ourselves a wing. And the beautiful thing about that wing is because it's starting on a central plane, we can actually cause it to be mirrored. So I'm going to do that, and I'll talk about this stuff that's sitting inside the canister in just a minute. So let's mirror the feature. It's that loft that we want to mirror. So I've left-clicked on it. Now I'll select the mirror plane, which is this one over here, and there it is on the other side. Click OK. We've got ourselves our nice-looking wings. Okay, now I'll flip this around a little bit more for us so we can have a bit of a look and admire it a touch more. Okay, so there's some pretty groovy looking wings. Now we could do that on the front as well if we wanted to be a bit more complex on the front rather than just the basic shape that I've created. And you certainly want to round edges. You don't want to leave square edges like this. You want to have smooth flowing edges to allow for laminar or flowing airflow as opposed to turbulence, which creates drag. So there's a little brief demonstration on how you can go about creating your car. You can use those features to do it. Anything else I need to tell you? I think that's just about going to be it. So I hope that helps you and gets you in the running for Gear F1 so you can get your car on the road and your team hopefully into the national finals. Well, good luck with it all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye now.